Hello guys, Termex here, and my fellow Druid mains that clicked on this video. Welcome to the Pain of Suffering, which is playing this character up until level 50, but congratulations if you made it to level 50. You made it past the entirely worst part of this entire character. And is that a word? I duplicated some English there, but we're going to go over my Storm Druid build in today's video. I see a lot of videos on YouTube when it comes to Druid build, and it's all the same shit if I'm being honest. It's use Earth skills, use Pulverize, turn into a bear, and I did see some Storm builds, but none of them were what I was doing myself, so I decided to make my own video. I can't grind this game religiously, but I play it when I can. I'll probably update this again when I hit World Tier 4, but for World Tier 3 and soloing throughout the entire game, I want to share my knowledge as a Druid player and some things you should do, some things you shouldn't do, and how much this build just kicks ass. I'm leveling through World Tier 3 like it's a cakewalk, and I'm having zero issues. I'm participating very well when it comes to world bosses. Butchers aren't a problem, and I will also add it's a very fun setup if you're trying to cosplay as Thor within Diablo. So let's show those sorcerers who the real lightning character is. First of all, into our stats, I want you to take a good look at willpower, because willpower is the main Druid stat regardless of what you're actually doing in this game, because willpower will get you where you need to go. You will say, if this is a crit build, why aren't you using dexterity? It's simply not worth it. Even with 100, 200, 400, 500 dexterity, you have to sacrifice intelligence, strength, or willpower to gain that dexterity, and it just doesn't benefit us as much as you think. And we have many other things to give us that crit chance that we will go into later. The easy stuff I want to get out of the way is the jewelry. Our amulet will make all the Earth and Might key passives apply to Storm skills. And I want to bring this up first because it's the most important thing in this build. Now, the reason why Earth and Might is so important is because every time you deal damage with a Earth skill, you will get a 5% chance to restore all your spirit instantly, and all your attacks will be guaranteed critical hits for the next 5 seconds. Now, this chance is increased by critical strikes, and if they're stunned, immobilized, or knocked back, luckily, lightning perks and lightning skills will give us the stunned and immobilized. But now, with this roll on our amulet, all those perks right here that I just read off will apply to every single storm skill we have. Very essential for this build. I'm not going to go over every single little roll on these items because they're not too important, but just so you know, I'll put it on screen right now. You're looking for cooldown reduction, you're looking for critical hit damage, lightning damage, you're looking for anything like that, any skills that benefit storm skills. Those are the most important rolls, willpower as well. I'm not going to go over every single roll like I said. Throw in some elemental resistance in there and you're good to go. Honestly, those don't matter as much as the actual aspects on all your gear. The other ring is just lucky hits. Every time we deal damage, there's a chance that the area is overloaded with lightning around the target for 3 seconds, causing any direct damage you do to them to pulse an additional 815 damage. I think this has a frame cap of 0.5, meaning every 2 attacks within a second will actually work. You can't use like a rogue with twisting blades and make it go bonkers, I don't think. But it is very good. More lightning damage, which means more immobilized stuns. For our ring, we have Lightning Storm critical strikes will spawn 3 dancing bolts that seek out enemies, dealing even more damage. Very amazing. We're going to be using our Lightning Storm the most, and it's our key core damage skill, so anything that benefits it is going to help us a lot in the long run. And these dancing bolts are actually really nice against world bosses because their hitbox is so big that the bolt kind of stays in there for a few seconds and hits them multiple times. For the first piece of armor, we have our helmets, and we gain +2 ranks to all of our Earth skills when we have Fortify. Now, Earth and Bulwark is our only Earth skill, and it gives us Fortify afterwards, so we're always going to have that because we have a short cooldown on it, and we're going to be spamming it over and over and over again. I do wish this didn't have 2 ranks to Wolves. I'll switch that out eventually or when I get better armor, but you really just want this so you get a stronger Bulwark at the end of the day, and I don't mind it too much. It's probably one of the best skills that Druid has in the entire game. Now, a must-have on the chest piece is going to be the duration of Earth and Bulwark is increased by 6 seconds. If you guys do not know, Earth and Bulwark is only a 3-second barrier, but with this aspect, it turns into a 9-second barrier. You could kind of ignore the second part because we're not using any Earth skills to benefit the Earth and Bulwark's barrier duration, so you don't have to worry about RNG. You just need this aspect, and you don't have to farm for a perfect one, because all we're looking for is the guaranteed first half of this perk, which is the bonus 6 seconds onto the Bulwark duration. For the gauntlets, we do have a very long one, but TLDR, casting a storm skill will gain your Earth skills bonus critical strike damage, but casting a Earth skill will give your Storm skills bonus critical strike chance. This just makes it so we hit more crits, and we're going to be spamming barriers so much that we're constantly going to have this 10% bonus critical strike chance on every single one of our Storm skills, and it's going to give us this a lot more often because we'll get more critical hit strikes, and we'll get a lot more spirit regeneration because it's instantly refilling it every time we do proc Earth and Might. Over into the pants, we do have 23% bonus amount to our next Earth and Bulwark for each enemy you crowd control prior to casting it, which is up to 100%. Now, you may ask, why would I waste so much time dealing lightning damage, immobilizing targets just for a little bit of a buff? Well, you don't need to waste any time. You have the Poison Creeper, which is a giant AoE pet that will root everything in the area, and if you root at least 4 or 5 people, you will gain that 100% from our pants instantly, allowing you to quickly just cycle and spam. You're not even going to think about this when it comes to the aspect. You're not going to have to think about it. When you're playing, it's just going to happen, and you're going to have a way stronger Earthen Bulwark because of that. Now for the boot slot, this is the slot for now. I like to say do whatever the hell you want with it. For me at least, I like the bonus movement speed when we hit a critical hit because it is very nice to move around with a Druid, and I don't have any Druid movement abilities on currently, so I would definitely recommend something mobility-wise for your boots, but like I said, this is just a build guide to do what you like to do. I imagine when this build progresses into World Tier 4, I'm going to have to trade this for a more damage dealing or maybe survivability type role. Now, the debate with Druids is two-handed better than one-handed. I want to say this. I do believe if you're going for more imprints, you want to rock a one-handed with a totem because you can technically get more legendary rolls that way, but if you're looking for a overall damage dealing setup and a little bit less farming in my opinion, because when it comes to a two-handed weapon, you only have to roll that weapon, not the one-handed and the totem. You'll actually get way more powerful imprints on a two-handed weapon, so that's why I like to opt for that. But I have this beautiful staff here with a 50% damage to crowd control targets, 67 to all stats, 53% lightning critical strike damage, 54% damage to close enemies, and 174 willpower that I rolled myself when I was doing the little perk exchange things that you use the roses on. And for our imprinted skill, we have Hurricane deals an increased 30% damage for each second it is active. I do not know if this has an internal cap or if it stops at a certain point. Please let me know in the comments down below if it does. For me, it feels like it hits like a truck, so every second this is active, it'll go 30, 60, 90, 120% over and over and over again. But if it has a cap, let me know. But in my experience, having this on just changes the game when it comes to that skill. Hurricane kind of sucks without this in my personal opinion, and it's a perfect roll imprint, so I can't really get mad. As for gems on our jewelry, we do have diamonds to resist all elements. On our weapon, we have diamond for ultimate skill damage, and on the core armor itself, we do have the emerald, so we have some thorns effects giving us quote-unquote more damage, which I do love thorns, and Druid can utilize thorns very well in World Tier 3, leveling up into World Tier 4, and you definitely notice a difference between this and not running them. For the deer boon, we have maximum spirit, because I do believe maximum spirit is the most important for upkeep and making sure you have enough resource to do your damage cycles. Now for the bird slot, we do have our 30% critical strike damage, which obviously makes sense as we're running a critical hit build. We did spirit bond with the wolf, so it allows us to get the fortify for 10% of our maximum life when we use a defensive skill. And like I said before, with our earthen bulwark, that's the only defensive skill we have, and that already gives us fortify, and bolster just makes that fortify even better, allowing us to maintain the +2 to all earth skills, which is on our helmet like I just said earlier, making it a lot easier to keep earthen bulwark at 7 out of 5. Then we have calamity, which just makes your ultimate skills last 25% longer. We want our cataclysm ultimate to be basically up and active as much as possible because it's a guaranteed vulnerability for any enemy in the area, and this just makes it a whole lot easier. Then for our snake boon, we do have overload, which is anytime we deal lightning damage, there's just a 20% chance to create a static discharge, which deals a certain amount of damage, 20% lightning damage, to surrounding enemies. More lightning, more mobilize, more DPS, and it's a lot more beneficial than any of these other snake boons. You could argue Calm Before the Storm could actually help you quite a bit if you find that your ultimate isn't up enough, so feel free to experiment with these two right here if you find that you're not enjoying overload too much. Into our abilities, I'm going to do a quick rundown here. You can take a screenshot if you would like to. We do have Storm Strike with our Fear Storm Strike for more vulnerability. Over into Lightning Storm, we want our Raging Lightning Storm for an additional Lightning Strike, and then we want 3 points into Heart of the Wild for maximum spirits, and 3 more points into Wild Impulses for 9% more spirit costs on our core skills, but in that trade-off, we're getting 15% bonus damage. Earthen Bulwark, of course, and you want to spec into the Preserving Earthen Bulwark for the bonus Fortify. For the companions, you want the Poison Creeper with the longer Immobilize duration and the longer Poison duration. Over into the Wrath skills, you do want Hurricane with the 20% damage reductions to any enemies that are standing within the radius of it, so if someone is too close to you, they're going to deal 20% less damage. Now the next 9 points are going all into these Storm skills right here. We have Elemental Exposure, giving us a 10% chance to make enemies vulnerable with any source of our Storm skills, which just makes it a lot easier to be vulnerable. We have 15% longer duration for Hurricane and Cataclysm, so Hurricane will last us a whopping 9 seconds, and we already have a 24% lucky hit chance, which was really good, but 9 seconds of Hurricane will ramp up our weapon aspect very well. Then we have Lucky Hit with a 30% chance when dealing damage to vulnerable or immobilized targets that a lightning bolt will also hit them for 55% of our damage, which we we will be getting from our Cataclysm, which is our ultimate ability, which will send out tornadoes and lightning strikes constantly for 14.37 seconds. Now, that is so long because, like I said before, we have Endless Tempest and our Spirit Boon over here, which is going to be Calamity to make our ultimates last longer. A 15-second ultimate of constant lightning strikes and tornadoes CCing enemies is terrific. And like I said before, every lightning strike from Cataclysm will make enemies vulnerable, but that is why we also spec'd into Elemental Exposure, because the lightning strikes aren't very reliable, and we want our storm skills to basically always cause vulnerable, because vulnerable is how this build goes around, and the fact that we can do this at a 10% chance with any single one of these skills right here is very, very powerful. And as for now, I do have 1 point into Defiance because we just get bonus damage towards elites with our entire build, and like I said before, our key passive is Earthen Might, because I already went over that. I don't want to explain it again, but it is to benefit all of our storm skills indirectly. But that is the build, guys. That is the loop and the setup. You've probably seen gameplay on screen, me killing the Butcher, me doing a solo Nightmare dungeon. I'm having a lot of fun, and if I'm being honest, World Tier 3 on Druid feels kind of easy with this setup, and I hope this video helped you out on your journey as a fellow Druid main. I do want to post more Druid content here on the channel, so if you want to follow my journey of the Storm Druid and possibly future Druid builds, stick around and hit the like button down below so we can get this video spread out to more people in the Diablo 4 community. And if you did enjoy the video that much, make sure you subscribe so you never miss out on another video from me. But thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. It really means a lot. You guys have a terrific day, stay safe, and I'll see you guys later.